Put on your revenge dress and get ready to suck on some toes.
Sucking Sarah's toes, Mummy.
What?
Because the second last season of The Crown is out, which focuses on one of the most tumultuous times for the modern royal family, the breakup of Diana and Charles. In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into Season 5, the real history, and much, much more. So grab your tickets to Apollo 13.
Houston, we have a problem.
This is going to get messy. The final episode of the season is titled Decommissioned, a reference to the royal yacht Britannia being put out of service after 43 years. In fact, the very first scene of the season, we see Claire Foy, who portrayed the Queen in seasons 1 and 2, christening this ship. The ship itself becomes a metaphor for the Queen's reign, one which started off with cheers and praise only to be left falling apart and left in disrepair.
It shouldn't come as a surprise she's falling apart. She's a creature of another age.
In fact, the very final shot of the entire season is the Queen alone on the once majestic ship before it's to be dismantled. One of the biggest themes of this season is tradition versus change, with the Queen clinging on to the past while Charles seeks to save the monarchy by embracing change. In fact, the prince creates his own war council of sorts to drum up ideas on how best to adapt. He'll even hold a secret meeting with new Prime Minister Tony Blair, someone seen as a beacon of change for the UK. As Charles will later tell his mother, what good is holding on to the past if there will be nothing for him to take over? The main events of Season 5 take place between 1991 and 1997, with the core story following the dissolution of Diana and Charles's marriage. From episode 1, we're shown that this is far from the fairy tale marriage projected to the public. Diana is stuck in a loveless marriage where her husband has frequent affairs with Camilla Parker Bowles. As she'll later tell Martin Bashir in her interview,
"Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it's a bit crowded."
And while Diana wants to do exciting new things with her kids, like go shopping or to the movies, Charles clings to the past, preferring to regale people about ancient history. It's kind of ironic since Charles fancies himself this beacon of modernity, at least in relation to his mother. Feeling utterly helpless and the Queen too busy to give her the time of day, Diana uses her friend James Coulter's as an intermediary between her and journalist Andrew Morton. She wanted the people to know her side of the story, and what better way than a book which will come to be known as Diana, Her True Story. Much of the British population at the time still believed in the Diana Charles fairy tale, so when news came out of her multiple suicide attempts, Charles's cheating, and her mistreatment, it created an absolute firestorm. The show does a pretty good job depicting how Morton and Diana went about making this book in secret, as Morton provided a detailed account on how they corresponded shortly after Diana's death. Even the break-in of Morton's apartment actually happened, of which only a camera was taken, and no one knows who was responsible. But the constant sweeping of Diana's office for bugs did indeed happen, although nothing was ever found. This paranoia is what eventually makes it so easy for BBC journalist Martin Bashir to manipulate her into giving him an interview, even though other high-profile networks and names, like Oprah Winfrey and Barbara Walters, could have easily nabbed the job. Martin went so far as to create doctored bank documents to show a connection between the British government and inner members of Diana and her brother's security team. In November of 2020, the BBC held an independent investigation into how Martin secured the interview, with the May 2021 report finding him guilty of using deceitful methods that breached the BBC's editorial conduct. That same month, he resigned from his position at the BBC, stating health reasons. The interview itself was secretly held at Kensington Palace, where Martin and his crew gained access under the pretense of installing a new audio system. Coincidentally or not, the interview was conducted on November 5th, or Guy Fawkes Night, named after an infamous member of the Gunpowder Plot which sought to kill King James in 1606. With the interview complete, editing was done under constant surveillance by security at the Grand Hotel in Eastbourne, which was cheekily named the Queen's Hotel for the show. As expected, the interview made headlines around the world, and a few months later, Charles and Diana's divorce would be finalized. In episode 9, there's an almost 12-minute long final scene between the prince and Diana, which acts as a distillation of their entire marriage. It starts off flirty and fun, gets serious, and by the end, everything falls to pieces, laying the groundwork for Diana's eventual meeting with Dodi Fayed. You may be surprised, but there's only one scene between Diana and Dodi the entire season, and in it they basically just say hello and that's it. More time, however, is spent on Dodi's father Muhammad from from his humble upbringing in Egypt to multi-millionaire obsessed with being accepted by the British elite. But why would the show focus so much attention on the father rather than on the man who will eventually fall in love with Diana? That's because it's absolutely vital to understand who Muhammad is to contextualize Dodi. Muhammad spent most of his life revering the British, trying desperately to become one of them. This involved hiring King Edward's personal valet in order to teach him what it took to become an English gentleman. He'd even go on to buy Harrods department store, a quintessential English institution. Throughout the season, we see how Dodi tries desperately to gain the love and acceptance of his father. He wins an Oscar for financing a movie about an outsider trying to become an insider. This, of course, being 1981's Chariots of Fire. He brings over a white supermodel, Kelly Fisher, hoping she'll be pretty enough for his acceptance. But what Dodi fails to realize is that he's not giving his father what he really wants, that acceptance into British high society. And what better way to get that than by dating the most beloved royal, Princess Diana. And at the end of the season, a now single Princess Diana is asked to accompany Muhammad and his wife on his private yacht in Saint-Tropez. There she can spend the summer with her boys and do all the things Charles so hated, like speedboating and shopping. Obviously, this is all a setup for season 6. Dodi allegedly left fiancée Kelly Fisher, who then sued him claiming he abandoned her for Diana. This lawsuit was dropped after Dodi and Diana's tragic passing. A memorial of Diana and Dodi was erected at Harrods, where you could see the lipstick-smudged wine glass from Diana's final dinner and a ring Fayed purchased the day before they died. The final few episodes also gives us a small glimpse into Diana's life away from the royals. She had a relationship with a Pakistani cardiologist, Dr. Hasnat Khan. They dated for almost 2 years, and she visited Pakistan twice between 1996 and 1997 at the invitation of Imran Khan, a man who would later become Prime Minister of Pakistan and who was also related to Hasnat. We see Diana voting no to the monarchy on a broadcast called Monarchy: The Nation Decides. This was a real TV program which asked some hard-hitting questions surrounding the current monarchy, with 66% of respondents in favor of the institution, but only 48% believing the monarchy would survive another 50 years. At the Queen's birthday, Charles's heartfelt present of a drawing he did for his mother is overshadowed by Andrew's singing bass. It has commonly been cited that Andrew was the Queen's favorite child, but I'm not so sure about that lately. Charles once again believes his talents are wasted as he's sent to represent the royals at Britain's handover of Hong Kong to China, but at least that affords him the opportunity to get closer with new Prime Minister Tony Blair, who took a large majority in Parliament as member of the new Labour Party. Charles believes that he and Blair could make an invaluable team, as both want change. He even goes against his mother, telling him that the royal yacht should be decommissioned, as it's a relic of the past. Meanwhile, the Queen has her last official meeting with Prime Minister John Major, who served in that role for over 6 years. The show depicts him as having helped mediate the settlement between Diana and Charles, however there's no evidence of that. In reality, this agreement only took about 2 months. On his way to Hong Kong, Prince Charles is subjugated to business class as the new Prime Minister and his pals enjoy champagne in first class, yet another depiction of the royals losing their status. Princess Diana attends a rendition of Swan Lake, an apt ballet since it's all about a prince falling in love with a princess only for her to become cursed. After Muhammad invites her out for dinner, there's some brief foreshadowing of her death being chased by paparazzi, no doubt what season 6 will focus on. The death of British rule over Hong Kong is also shown, with Charles stating that this is the result of not adapting to the times. The show, as well as PM Tony Blair, depict Charles as a sympathetic figure, with Tony calling him an impressive man and that his job must feel like being trapped in opposition for eternity. Back home, the Queen chastises her son on taking the royal yacht not only to conduct a personal meeting with the PM, something only this sovereign is to do, but also to engage in a holiday with Camilla. He's upset that she has failed to move with the times, and she, like her yacht, will become decommissioned, leaving him with nothing. She must cast aside these Victorian notions of how the monarchy should be. The season ends with Muhammad arriving on his yacht and Dodi's proposal to Kelly as Diana packs for the trip. No doubt this is all a setup for what's to come. We even get a slight smile from Diana, signaling that this might be the start of something new, a way towards happiness. But just as the season started with the Queen, so does it end. She takes one last tour of the Britannia, ending with her reflection in the mirror. Will she continue down the same path as the monarchy crumbles around her to suffer the same fate as her ship, or will she adapt and change? Season 6 likely won't be around until November of 2023, but casting has already begun for are older versions of William and teenage Kate Middleton, so it looks like season 6 will cover Diana's death and a few years after, with it being the final season of the series. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember...
Sucking Sarah's toes, Mummy.